That's when I actually found a little bit of a problem when upgrading the RAM. If you're looking to buy the new M5 Pro MacBook Pro just like me, then you're in luck, because even though they have increased the price by I think £200 on the new M5 Pro compared to the M4 Pro, it's not just a price increase, because they've also increased the base specifications as well. So you're still getting 24 gigabytes of RAM, but they've increased from 512 gigabytes of the SSD to 1 terabyte minimum now on the M5 Pro. I think especially if you're looking to have this machine for like 5-6 years, you might want to look at upgrading the RAM, which is what I was looking at. I was thinking, do I upgrade the RAM to like 36 gigabytes? That's when I actually found a little bit of a problem when upgrading the RAM, specifically on the M5 Pro MacBook Pro chip, because you can't just upgrade from 24 gigabytes of RAM to 36 gigabytes of RAM. You have to jump up to 48 gigabytes of RAM. Now, why is that? I'm not actually sure. The annoying thing is the way Apple do this on their website. If you go through the M5 Pro chip and then you've got the 15 core, 16 core GPU, and then you go down here to unified memory, which is the RAM, you obviously get 24 gigabytes of RAM included, but you can only upgrade to 48 gigabytes of RAM. And that's actually a big jump, and you'll definitely be future-proofing yourself there a lot when you are upgrading that. However, because 36 gigabytes of RAM isn't an option on the M5 Pro chip, you have to spend £400 extra to double your RAM. If you're getting double the amount of RAM, okay, £400 does make sense, because if you could get 36 gigabytes of RAM, then that would be £200 to get that, then it would be £400 to 48 gigabytes, then 600 to 64, and so on and so on. But why can you not use, or why can there not be 36 gigabytes of RAM in the M5 Pro chip? Because if I did want to upgrade the RAM, I've got to spend now an extra £400 instead of £200, because even though, like I said, 24 gigabytes of RAM is probably an amazing amount to have, and it's fine for 4K editing. And if you didn't actually know, on the MacBooks, what they do with swap memory is, on my MacBook Air now, 16 gigabytes of RAM, if I have Google Chrome and DaVinci Resolve open, that's more than 16 gigabytes of RAM. What they do is they use the SSD as swap memory, and they actually use the SSD power to give the whole system more RAM, which is obviously not the best on your SSD in itself, which is why having more RAM is better to avoid the swap data. With 1 terabyte of storage, if you actually edit on external SSDs, you have loads of room in there to be able to use that for swap memory, which is why I do think 24 gigabytes is enough. But in an ideal world, I would like to just future-proof myself just a little bit more and bump up to 36 gigabytes of RAM. I feel like that's the perfect sweet spot for that, but you can't do that on the M5 Pro chip. The only way you can do that is, if you see here, you can only do that on the M5 Max chip, and that's £3,600. So the only way to get 36 gigabytes of RAM on my M5 Pro, or on my M5 MacBook Pro, I should say, is by going for the M5 Max. So that's a little bit disappointing there. So if I do want to upgrade the RAM only, I'm looking at £400 extra to get 48 gigabytes of RAM. Now, yes, like I said, it probably is worth it if you're looking at, it's £200 for the 36 gigabytes of RAM, then it's an extra £200 for the 48 gigabytes. It does make sense like that. I just don't get why they can't put 36 gigabytes of RAM in the M5 Pro chip. I don't know why. If you do know, please let me know in the comments. It's not actually £400 more if you think about it, because if you go for the complete base chip, base memory, don't upgrade anything on the M5 Pro, MacBook Pro, it's £2,200 on the Apple Store. Obviously, you can go to other places like Amazon, and you can get the exact same specs. So you can get 15 core CPU, 16 core GPU, 24 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte SSD, and on Amazon, it's actually 8% off. So it's £2,014. You're basically getting £200 off nearly just by going for Amazon, which is what I will be doing if I do get this, because why would I get it on the Apple Store when I can just get it on Amazon for £200 cheaper? So in reality, if I actually did want to upgrade the RAM from 24 gigabytes to 48 gigabytes of RAM, I'm actually spending £600 more to be able to get 48 gigabytes of RAM, which is ridiculous if you think about it, because that is literally the price of a whole new MacBook Neo. Now, obviously, I'm not going to get a MacBook Neo, but when you put it in perspective like that, just to get double the RAM, £600 for something that I might not potentially need. And if I do need it, it might be in, 4 or 5 years time anyway, and at that time I might be looking to upgrade to potentially the new 4th, 5th generation of the M10 OLED model with the touchscreen display, when they've actually mastered that as well. That's just the one annoying thing. If you are looking to get the M5 Pro MacBook Pro, I personally think, and this is what I'm going to go for, I do think 24 gigabytes will be enough if you're a photo editor, a 4K video editor. Even 8K I think you'll be fine, especially with that 1 terabyte SSD, because you can use the swap to be able to get more memory anyway, because I don't think that'll be filled up. This base model is a great deal in my opinion anyway, but just be warned, if you do want to upgrade the RAM on it, you're going to be looking to spend a lot of money. So leave your thoughts in the comments below. If you do know the reason why you can't get 36 gigabytes of RAM, I would love to know. So thank you very much for watching. If you found it helpful and you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.